Hey y'all, welcome to midday yoga on this beautiful Friday. Let me get my light up there. Let's see if we can get us a little bit more brilliance here. There we go. Fantastic. So as you're stepping into class here, make sure that you've got your space set up in a way that is conducive to doing your practice, meaning that you're free from distractions. There we go. Something along those lines. There we go. Try not to get my head out of the picture frame. Good deal. All right. So, yeah, you want to have your private space that you're not going to be distracted or disturbed. This practice, roughly an hour, maybe just a little bit shy of that, depending on how it goes. So the most important cue I can tell you is right here at the beginning to only do the things that suit you at the moment, right? That's a big part of our yoga practice is learning to pay attention to what's actually going on, not what we think should be going on or what we wish was going on, but to literally become aware of the truth of what's happening and have an acceptance of what's going on. In yoga terms, we call that satya, truthfulness, right? And santosha, right? Acceptance. So, if you're okay with it, let's go ahead and start in a child's pose position. Like I said in the very beginning, whatever suits you best at the moment is what you need to do. So, if child's pose doesn't feel good, you could be on your back, you could be on your side, you could be in seated. The first few moments of practice, it's just a little bit of mental work. And so, you've already kind of done some of the mental work as you've made your way here onto the mat. Then take the next step. Make this conscious decision that now is the time to practice yoga, setting aside other places, other times, other people. Make an initial observation of the body. What's going on? How does it feel? What's the mood of the body? Are there any aches and pains that are showing up today? And then have a look at the breath. Just recognize what's going on, speed of the breath, the path that the breath is taking, the relative depth or shallowness of the breath. Making an observation of the thoughts in the mind. And then start your ujjayi breath, that inhaling coming in through the nostrils, exhales going back out through the nostrils, smooth and fluid breath. Perhaps the breath coming into a speed of around 4 seconds by 4 seconds. On your next inhale, pull into the all fours. On the exhale, take the hips back towards the heels. Child's pose. Continue to move here. Inhale, pulling into all fours. Exhale, hips going to heels. Smooth, fluid breath. Smooth, fluid movements. And then add on this next component. So next time you come into the all fours, let the hips drop forward, pull the shoulder blades back, lift the chin slightly, upward facing dog. Inhale into the center, exhale, hips to heels. Continue to move here, smooth, fluid. And then the next time you end up back in that child's pose, pause there in the child's pose. Let the hands walk out long in front of you. Feel a little side stretch here. You can take the hands over to, say, the left side. So as you walk the hands off the mat to the left side, you find a little extra sensation there on the right side body. We can use a little technique here using the heel of this right palm to get a little bit more depth in here. And so let the right fingertips start to pick up off the floor. Right palm kind of faces towards the wall, or, fingertips straight up, and then slide, wiggle, or walk the heel of that right palm a little further out. Now reach the tips of the fingers towards the sky, and then slowly let the fingers start to reach out forward, and then the hand and fingers come down to the mat. Push the hips back, just a little bit of extra attention there on the right side body stretch. Breath is still smooth and fluid. When you've had enough on this side, meaning you can stay here longer, when you're ready to change to the other side, simply come in through the center. Maybe take a moment, a breath or two there in the middle, kind of neutralize and adjust and recognize what's happened on the left side stretch, and then walk the hands over to the other side. Similar technique here. The left fingertips can lift up, point up towards the sky, wiggle, walk, or slide the heel of that left palm further out there, and then push the hips back towards the heels. Big stretch down that right side. Coming back into the center, pull into your all fours, turn the 10 toes underneath, allow the hips to lift up into downward facing dog. From here, step the left foot forward, stay on the right toe. So we're in a low lunge here at first. Press through the right heel off the floor. Take the left hand, extend the left hand forward, and then take the left hand, left arm level with the floor over to the left side. Extend out, turn the face, look towards that left hand. Don't let your hips, like your left hip is going to try to pop up and go over to the left side. So keep the hips level with the mat here and square with the front of the mat. Now from here, take that left arm up towards the sky. Just a gentle twist. Don't force things here. We're not super warmed up yet at all. Let that left arm come over the top, down to the floor. Plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward, low lunge here on the left toes, left heel off the floor. Press the left heel backwards. Reach through the right fingertips, make space, distance here, then let the right arm slide out to the right side, level to the floor, turn the face. Don't let the hips get out of shape. Keep them level with the floor, square to the front of the mat. And then that right arm starts to slide up towards the sky. So it doesn't have to go all the way up here. Sometimes that hand will stay here on the thigh or hip, even helping to hold the hip in place. Let that right arm come over the top, reach forward, hand comes down, step back, downward facing dog. From here, pull forward, upper push up. Take a breath here, refine the shape of your plank, and then drop the knees down. Don't let the elbows go out like I'm showing here. Instead, do the opposite. Squeeze the elbows in, point them backwards just a little bit. You'll feel if you push the elbows back, you'll feel a little pull on the front of the shoulders, kind of back and down, a stretch across the chest, as opposed to the opposite, pushing the shoulders in towards the neck. From here, let the chest and chin come towards the floor. Toes could lift up off the floor. So it's knees, chest, and chin. Then drop the belly down, tops of the feet come down, squeeze the elbows in, use the strength of the arms and not the buttocks and lower back, and lift the chin, lift the heart, pull the shoulder blades back, open the cobra's hood here, the shoulder blades. Press into the hands, squeeze the arms to touch the body. Come through upward facing dog. Take the hips to heels, child's pose. Inhale, coming into all fours. Exhale, hips lift up into the sky, downward facing dog. Inhale, come up on the toes. On the exhale, let the feet make their way towards the front of the mats. Now bring the hands onto the shins or thighs and let the body rise level with the floor, or relatively level. So here, the knees can have some bend or they can be a little bit straighter here. We want to refine the shape in the torso. So the shoulders will have a tendency to slump. The torso might kind of soften here. We want to do the opposite. Pull the shoulder blades back, push the heart forward, squeeze the belly in. Let the outer edge of the hips and kind of like the legs themselves squeeze towards the center line. Then draw the pelvic floor towards the crown of the head. Last little refinement here, this chin lock. So we don't want the head just kind of hanging out. We want a defined shape in the neck, chin in a 90-degree with the throat. Pull the head away from the torso. Inhale, lengthen here. On the exhale, let the body fold a little deeper, but keep that flat shape. Don't let the body soften and round till here. Bend the knees. Do put a little softness. Then let the arms extend forward, reach up towards the sky. Chin can lift, look up towards the sky. A little bit of a back bend here. And then bring the palms to press together. Hands come to heart center. So we've moved through a few different poses here already. As we start to come now into a little bit more kind of the vinyasa flow, the fluid part, right? We're going to use those different poses. And that's one of the reasons we go kind of slowly through there, is so you can explore the pose, see how it feels, see what modifications you might need to make for today. So just bringing the palms to press together, hands at heart center. Let your eyes close for a moment. Search within the body and see what places aren't actively engaged. So what I'm talking about here is you want to structure in the whole body. So your toes are pressing down, the legs are getting longer. You have that action in the hips squeezing towards the center line, drawing up. We call that Mula Bandha, the root lock. Uddiyana Bandha here in the navel center, squeezing towards the back body. You can sense what's going on. Lifting the solar plexus kind of up into the rib cage. Again, palms pressing together, pull the shoulder blades back on the tops of the shoulders down. Heart pushes forward, this refined shape. So why we practice this refined shape of mountain is because when we flow through the other poses, it's still here, and it's not always there. The body tends to get a little bit kind of floppy and wobbly here, and we want to find this structure. So here we come, starting to move a little bit more now. So on the inhale, hands reach up, come into a little bit of a back bend. On the exhale, reach out forward, fold all the way down. Take the right foot, step it back, bring the arms by the ears, rise into your high lunge. Let's pause in this high lunge. We could be straight up and down here. I'm going to suggest to have just a little bit of a lean out, but take the arms and shoulders a little bit back so you don't have the arms out here in front. And if this doesn't work, arms up here, hands can be heart center, hands can be on hips, hands can be on the lower back. Inhale, lengthen here. On the exhale, take it to upper push up. Now, if you're looking for extra intensity in your practice today, that left leg could hover. Take an inhale here. And on the exhale, knees, chest, and shin. Belly drops, chin lifts, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward, arms come forward, rise, high lunge with that little lean forward. Inhale here. Now, here, the transfer is going to be to forward fold. So the exhale, bring that back foot up and hands come down. Find the shins with the hands. Inhale, pull the body away from the floor. On the exhale, deepen, soften the knees, take the arms forward. Inhale, take it up to the top, back bend. Palms press. Hands come down, heart center. Close the eyes. Just reflect on what's going on. Have some things already started to change within you? And remember, moving with your breath. So my cadence, not nearly as important as what's going on in your breath. It's one of the reasons we take these pauses, is to recognize the breath, smooth the breath out. Next, inhale, hands reach up, come into that little bit of a back bend. On the exhale, all the way down, forward fold. Now, this time it's the left foot that steps back first and the arms rise. Inhale, take it up, high lunge. Exhale to plank. Pausing here in plank. Inhale, refine the shape. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward, arms reach forward, rise up, high lunge. Exhale, step to the front of the mat, forward fold. Hold on to the shins. Inhale, lengthen the legs, flatten the spine. Exhale, fold it down. Take the arms forward. As you inhale, rise up to the top, back bend. Palms press, hands come heart center. We're going to keep moving here now. So right back into our flow. Inhale into the back bend. Exhale, reach out long, fold down. Back to the right foot backwards. Step back, right foot. Inhale, rise, high lunge. Exhale, reach out forward as you bring it down to upper push-up plank position. Take an inhale, refine your plank. Exhale, knees, chest and chin, elbows squeezing in purposely. Keep the elbows squeezing in as you rise. Cobra pose, belly stays on the floor. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward. Inhale, rise, high lunge. Exhale, step forward, forward fold. Hands find the shins. Inhale, lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold it deeper. Bring the arms forward. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, palms press, hands come heart center. One more time through. We'll put some pauses in a couple of spots here. Inhale, take it up to the top. Exhale, reach out forward, fold it down. Left foot steps back. Inhale, rise, high lunge, pause here. So your left heel off the floor, press the left heel backwards, but let the left hip have a slight rotation forward. So you feel that little extra stress here. Arms extended here or on the hips or heart center. Turn the palms to face forward. Bend the elbows, sink down like a goalpost, and then let the hands now come around behind the back. Now, for some of us, we can find a bind here, interlacing the fingers or grab peace fingers. You could even put a towel or a strap between the hands, or the hands can be freestyle. We don't want to force anything in the shoulders here. Push the knuckles away from the crown of the head. Pull the shoulder blades back. Now, let the body lean out so that you're in the same plane with that left leg. Press the left heel backwards. Reach to the crown of the head. Now, just a few moments in this place. Press the feet apart. At the same time, squeeze the legs front to back, side to side. Mula Bandha at the roots. Uddiyana Bandha, navel center. Jalandhar Bandha in the heart, shoulders, and neck. From here, careful here, let that front leg start to straighten out. Don't lock it out. Let the body come deeper into the fold. So maybe halfway to the floor here, trying to purposely bring about some strong sensations. Then let the body fold deeper in here. Take the hands, arms off of the back as you find a little bit of a rotation here. The hips are going to try to get out of shape. Keep them square to the floor, level to the floor, square to the front of the mats. And then release the hands down to the floor. Bend that front knee. Step back now. Downward facing dog. Inhale, upper push-up. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward. Rise into our high lunge. We're here in the high lunge for a few moments. Keep breathing. Press the right heel backwards, but let the right hip have a slight kind of pull forward or almost even kind of angle over towards the left side. You'll feel just that little bit of extra resistance there in the front of that right hip. Now take the arms like goalposts. So you're opening up the chest, and then let the hands now drop down around behind us. Again, they can rest here. You can put a towel or strap between the hands. You could grab peace fingers. You could bind the fingers together. Push the knuckles away from the crown of the head, away from the shoulders. Pull the shoulders back. Bring the body in the same plane with the right leg. So we're pausing in this shape for a few moments. Press through the right heel, reach to the crown of the head. Breath is still moving. Shoulders pulling back, knuckles pushing away. Start to take the arms a little bit off of the back. And then carefully here now, let that left leg straighten, but don't lock it out. So it's okay to keep a little bit of bend in it. Then bring the body level to the floor potentially. Hands come off the back just a little bit, pushing the knuckles away, hips staying level. And what you'll notice is like if your hips get uneven, it's actually easier to do this pose, but we don't want the easy stuff. We want to make it a little bit more challenging. Fold the body down, keep the hands bound if possible. It's okay if you need to release them. I'm letting mine go here so I can get a little bit more rotation in the shoulders. Then release the hands down to the floor, step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, rise up on the tips of the toes. On the exhale, bring the feet up to the front of the mats. Hang on to the shins. Inhale, lift a little bit. Exhale, fold it down. Inhale, take it to the top. Back bend. Exhale, palms press together. So changing it up again here. Inhale, take the hands up to the top. We're going to stay here with this little bit of a back bend. Turn the palms to face forward and then just drop the elbows down. Let the hands now reach out and come around behind us. So bring the torso upright. So we were in a back bend. Come into upright here. Find your mountain pose, right? Mountain is this, it looks like you're just standing here, except that it's not just standing. There's an aliveness, toes pressing down, legs getting longer, engagement in the root, in the navel center, in the heart, into the chin, into the crown of the head. So with the hands just resting here, kind of on the small of the back, pull the elbows back. Now, as you pull the elbows back, sometimes your belly and hips are going to try to push forward. Don't let that happen, right? So just stay straight up and down as the elbows pull back. Keep the chin in this 90 degrees. So don't lift the chin just yet. And now let the hips push forward as the hands press into the small of the back, but keep the navel center drawing towards the spine as opposed to just letting the belly push forward. From here, once you kind of find the edge, notice any part of the body that seems to have kind of collapsed. See if you can reinvigorate, get longer, and then elbows pull back, belly squeezes in, chin lifts. The sensation that you might find here is a little stretch from the tip of the chin down the throat, past like the center of the collarbones into the sternum, into the heart. Again, look for the places that maybe have collapsed. Now let the hands just slide down the glutes and reach towards the floor. Bigger back bend. And now take it up to the top as the arms inhale, sweep out and up over the head. Torso comes upright. Palms come to press together. Hands come down, heart center. Inhale, reach up, back bend just a little bit here. And on the exhale, that forward fold, reaching out, hands come down, deep forward fold. We're in this forward fold for a few extra moments. And so at first, soften this pose, bend the knees, let the torso just kind of slump in here. You might even take opposite hand to opposite elbow. Sometimes call this pose ragdoll. There can be a little bit of movement, a little bit here, hip side to side. The body can sway like an elephant trunk, maybe. And then if you held on to those elbows, release the hands down. Let's make this a little bit more vigorous pose. So we can bring the hands onto the shins or thighs, not the knees. We don't want to put the pressure on the knees for sure. Let the torso rise up here and then refine that shape. Pull the shoulder blades back. Let the neck get longer. Belly squeezes in. Outer edge of the hips start to squeeze in. Legs start to straighten. Lift the hips up. Then push the tailbone hips backwards, almost so the toes start to lift up. Then let the body fold a little deeper. Keep the flatness, lengthen the spine. Don't let it round, finding a bigger stretch. Now you can use the hands to support you here to kind of hold the weight, or sometimes you take the hands to the back of the legs and use them as a little extra assistance to get deeper into this thing. Chin in that 90 degree. So the legs are long here. Keep the legs long, but perhaps consider, and these are all just different options, do what works best for you, but you might consider leaning a little bit forward into the pads of the toes, almost like your heels start to almost lift up, then press the heels down. Big stretch down the back of the legs. Soften here, bend the knees, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, upper push up. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, cobra. And then exhale, roll down to the floor. Let the hands come back next to the hips and turn the face to one side. Let an ear drop onto the mat. So this is a moment to practice letting go. So we, have encouraged the body to have a refined shape, some structure, some muscular engagement. In this moment, turn all that off. Just let the body melt for a moment. Breath is still smooth and fluid. When you're ready, let the face turn to the other side slowly, right? It's a gentle twist. And what's kind of unique about this pose is so there is this twist in the spine, starting up here in the neck. And if you try to force it, if you try to make the head turn more, you'll actually a lot of times get less effectiveness. And so the idea here is to just soften and let the shape of the pose maybe deepen the twist as you let go, as opposed to trying to make the head turn. Bring the chin back into the center. Bring the thumbs at the level of the heart. We're going to come into that cobra again. But what I want you to focus on here is not clenching up the buttocks or lower back here, but instead using the strength of the arms. The biggest tendency happens all the time. I see it in my own practice and I see it when I, teach you guys is the elbows will go out and the shoulders will kind of pinch in towards the neck. We want the opposite of that. So squeeze the elbows against the torso. Press the hands like you're trying to push the mat away. Keep the lower back and glutes soft and start to use the strength of the arms to rise the torso up. From here, careful not to clench up the buttocks, but pull the shoulder blades back. Chin is level with the floor, so it actually has a little bit of a lift away from the throat as opposed to 90-degree, but we don't want it severe. Press into the hands, squeeze the arms in, keep breathing, belly squeezing in towards the back body. You might point the toe tips, even sometimes the toenails float a little bit here as the legs get longer. Now squeeze the elbows in. Don't let the arms go out wide and slowly start to straighten the arms as the belly lifts up off the floor, coming into upward facing dog. Pull the shoulder blades back. Heart pushes forward. Belly squeezes inwards. Counter pose here, coming into box, all fours. Then round the spine like the cat. You might tuck the 10 toes underneath. You can get a little stretch in the toes here. Now, where you take your cat depends on what you need. You might be rounding more like shoulders over the wrists. You may be like halfway back to child's pose. You might be all the way back here, hips to heels, or anywhere in between. You might even make some movements, go from one place to the other. But the thing you're looking to do is that cat shape roundness, right? So the backside of the spine pushing up towards the sky. You'll feel, think about it, as the spine bends upwards, the backside of your vertebrae starting to pull apart a little bit, opening up space along the spine. Now, the other side of your spine, just an inch or so away, it's pressing together. So as the back opens up, there's a little compression on the front side of the spine. And so now we'll drop into the opposite of this. So let the belly drop down, chest drops down, tail has a little lift up, chin can have a little lift up. So we can stay in this shape, or we can pull a little bit more forward or a little bit more backwards or to the side, or even making little circles. But now feel the front side of the spine opening up, and the back side of the spine, as it's pushing down towards the floor, has that little bit of compression. Just, an inch or so apart from each other. One side opening, other side compressing. Come into neutral here. So we're going to find some twists. There's a couple of different variations in here. Use the things that work best for you. So from here, let's take the left arm, crawl it out forward, lift the left arm up, take the left arm out to the left side, look to the left side, then take the left arm up towards the sky. You want that right hand a little bit more maybe underneath the face, give you that balance. Purposely let the hips twist here. So your left hip is going to lift up a little higher. Your right hip's going to drop down just a little bit. It's going to help you twist a little bit more here. Now keep the twist. Remember, you can have this hand extended, or if it suits you better, it can come here on the hips. Keep the twist of the torso to the left side, face looking to the left side, but now let the hips drift back over to the right side so that the left hip drops down in the same plane. It makes the twist maybe less depth as far as like how much distance you get in this twist, but it makes the twist a lot more intense. Now from here, when you're ready, meaning you can stay in this shape if you want, when you're ready, let that left arm thread the needle, come underneath the body, back of the hand, forearm, elbow, perhaps shoulder, maybe even the left ear come to the mat. Now, this is a unique pose. We can stay just like this and do some work on the left shoulder. If you want to take it further, a couple more possibilities here. Your right leg can extend out to the right side, inner edge of the right foot comes to the floor, or potentially sole of the right foot comes to the floor. Your right arm can reach up towards the sky. Right leg stays anchored, right arm starts to reach back, adding twist here. So stick with it, whatever shape you found. Breath is moving. If you've got that arm extended and leg extended, you're using the right arm to, again, twist the torso. So kind of how we started this little sequence when we were in all fours, just the twist is in a different shape. Your right heel, you want to actively be pressing away from the right side hip. And that right hip, you want to be actively dropping back towards the floor. When you've had enough on this side, simply start to unravel. The right arm comes down, the right knee comes in, and then let that left arm slide back up to the sky. And then that left arm comes down. Crawl the right fingertips out forward. Pick the right hand up. So this little, sometimes it's like, why are we doing this? You're making length here, right? Making length on the whole right side. Take the right arm out to the right side. Look at the right hand. Left hand, maybe a little bit more under the face for support. And then that right arm up to the sky. Let your hips twist. Torso twists, right? So your right hip lifting up higher just a little bit than the left hip. Stay here with your twist. Remember, you have an option to drop the hand here on the hips. And then stay with the twist, but let the hips push back over towards the left side, bringing them more level with the mat as opposed to the right hip higher than the left. Big twisty sensation going on. You could stay here. Maybe this is what you do the whole time. Again, hand could come to the hip if that's a better option, or we'll take it to phase two. Right arm slides underneath, forearm or shoulder or even right ear come to the floor. Again, perhaps this is the perfect place to hang out and explore maybe little micro movements. Or left leg goes out to the left side, toes pointed towards the crown of the head side of the mat. We could stay just like this, or the left arm can reach up and reach back. Stay with it for a few moments. Again, pressing left heel away, drawing the left hip back towards that left arm. Big twisty sensations going on. And then as you're ready, start to unravel. You can consider taking that right arm back up to the sky. Again, that gentle twist. And then the right hand comes down to the floor. From here, let's come into seated with the legs out long, starting to work towards Dandasana, seated staff. Generally, the way I like to do the Dandasana is to make it a very nondescribed kind of just slumping here. Feet kind of flop, torso kind of just hangs out. Shoulders might round, chin might drop in. And the reason why is because Dandasana, like a lot of the poses, there's actually a lot of structure to it. And so a lot of muscular engagement. So we want to notice the difference. This is what the body feels like, looks like when nothing's going on or relatively nothing's going on. Then turn it into the shape. So the torso starts to get tall, the heels press away from the hips, tops of the feet flex back towards the shins. You might have to even kind of like walk the pelvis backwards a little bit. You feel the legs actively engaged. Crown of the head comes over the tailbone. Palms facing downwards here and pressure downwards with the palms. So some of us, the hands are going to be on the mat. Some of us, the hands are going to float just a little bit. But the idea is that the palms press down. It pulls the tops of the shoulders away from the ears. The neck is long, chin is in a 90-degree, very defined shape. Now you can do this next step with keeping the hands right there on the floor or near the floor, or we'll take the arms and start to reach back and out and up. Notice, did something change? Did part of the body kind of slump as you made the next move? Keep things strong and long, reaching the arms potentially up over the head. Now I know a lot of us might be able to take this fairly deep as we start to come into the forward fold, but I'm going to suggest that we just go a little bit at a time. We'll get to that depth place in a few moments. So on your inhale, get a little bit longer, get a little bit more refined shape. Keep the arms behind the ears as you exhale just a tiny bit forward. You find that first little bit of resistance. Keep the shape in the body. Inhale, lengthen, stretch the arms, lengthen the torso. Exhale, maybe the body just goes a little bit deeper out here. Now, inhale, lengthen. On the next exhale, let the hands release down. So we can maybe take peace fingers and grab the inner edge of the big toes. That's an option. Hands can come over the tips of the toes. We could take hands around the feet or on the shins or even on the floor or even maybe way back here by the hips or even back behind the hips, depending on how far you're folding forward here. On your inhale, if you've got the peace fingers holding onto those big toes, pull the body away and lengthen the spine. Don't let the shoulders round and the mid back round. Belly button squeezes in, heart pushes forward. Now, from here, if you're holding on with those fingers, bend the elbows just a little bit and let that elbow bend start to sink you deeper into Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. So you're here for a few moments. And the challenge, part of the challenge is, you might be having a pretty strong stretchy sensation. That can be its own challenge and a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. But really the bigger challenge is to keep those little details going on, right? The refined shape in the body, heels pressing, tops of feet flexing, legs longer, torso not slumping and rounded, even if that takes you deeper. We're going to get that slump shape at the end of this thing. We want to keep that flatness, belly button squeezing in, keep the pressure applied here. Breath is smooth and fluid. Sometimes it'll have a tendency to get kind of stuck. Let the breath keep moving. Okay, so you have some options here. For some of us, you're going to hold this pose for a few more breaths. Totally okay to keep, to stay here longer. If you're ready to change it up a little bit, let's bring that roundness into the spine. So the chin comes in towards the chest, the shoulders kind of round forward. There's a bit more roundness in the mid back. You may even sink a little deeper into the forward fold. Just notice how things maybe a little bit different than where they were before. So you can stay here in this shape or come back to the flattened shape. A little bit more advanced technique here. You want to be cautious, especially if you have any issues with knee or hip or shoulders, right? But we're going to come into potentially archer's pose here. And so the archer's pose, let your body kind of lean just a little over to the right side. So you're going to be seated pretty much on the right side. Then you start to peace fingers around the inside of the big toes here. You start to slide that left heel back, pick the left heel up off the floor, pull the left knee back towards behind the body. Now you have the option to keep your vision looking down that right arm or even over the right shoulder sometimes, or bring the chin more into the center, or even look over that left shoulder, maybe the left knee pulling back and find that just a little bit of openness across the hips. And then slowly with control, extend back. Left foot comes down. Lean the body over to the left side just a little bit. Right foot starts to pick up, knee comes back. Again, you have options where the face looks. Left arm, more in the center, or over that right shoulder. Pull the right knee back. Let the hips get that little bit of extra openness. And then soften. Release. Let's come into a seated cat and cow here. So hands come around the shins. On your inhale, open the heart's front side. On the exhale, open the back side of the heart. A couple more times here. On the inhale, chin lifts, heart pushes forward. On the exhale, chin comes down, heart pushes backwards, pelvis tilts up towards the belly button. One more time, breathing forward here. And then as you exhale, come into this rounded shape and broaden the upper back, right? And so I'm using kind of my knees, pushing my elbow creases out a little bit. And I'm also letting the kind of shoulders roll a little bit forward, the chin tucking down towards the heart. And the pelvis has like this little almost tuck towards the belly button, right? So you're feeling a pressure left and right, stretching across the back, feeling a stretch upwards as your chin drops down, right? You feel that stretch upwards. And as the pelvis tucks, you feel that little stretch downwards. So, if you can, in your mind's eye, identify where do all of those things meet up? Where does the left side, right side stretch, up stretch, down stretch meet? Where in the back is kind of where they maybe they don't all meet exactly, but kind of where's the center of all of that? Let that place open up. Let it expand. Let the back of your heart open. Place where you receive love. And then come back into neutral. Let the chin lift, heart pushes forward. Just a few moments here, front side of the heart opening up. And then soften, release. Coming into Janu Shirsasana. So let the right leg extend out long. The left knee bends and the sole of the left foot comes in towards the right thigh. You don't want to put the sole of the right foot on the left foot on the right knee, right? So if there's pressure there, leave a little gap between the foot and the thigh. Different possibilities. Some of us would have the flexibility that like the left heel would go all the way underneath the perineum and you're seated on that heel. Some of us, like I have old rugby knees and sometimes this knee's kind of swollen. So I might have my knee hardly bent at all and have the left foot way down here by the right ankle or calf, right? So different possibilities. From here now, apply a little bit of pressure with your left arm, push the left knee down towards the floor. If you had a blanket or blocks or bolsters, you could put those underneath that left knee or thigh or calf if it's off the floor. And that's a good place because we can feel the pressure downwards. We're connected to the earth. So as you do that, you might feel the right cheek trying to lift up. We actually want to keep that right cheek not just touching, but grounded down. And so let that right cheek start to ground down into the earth. So there's a pressure. Right leg has that flex. Right arm extends up. Get longer on that right side. Then take the left arm, reach that one up, get longer. Allow the torso to turn here towards that right leg. So refine shape. And you can, like, I've had students that, clients that do this, they kind of sort of do things and they kind of sort of come out here and they're like, nah, that wasn't, all that good. And the idea, right, is that it's these refinements, these little structural things that you're doing. The right leg long, right cheek pressing down. Now let the body start to lean out. Similar to how we did in Pashimo. You come into that first little place, pause, maybe get a little longer. On your exhale, perhaps go a little deeper. Now the arms can stay up here, or again, you can release them down. Perhaps they find the toes or foots or calf or even on the floor. You want to avoid that kind of rounded slump shape in the spine. You want the heart pushing forward, belly squeezing inward, Lengthen through the spine. We're here for a few breaths. Stick with it. Breath is smooth and fluid. Left knee pressing down, right cheek pressing down, right foot has the little flex. Torso has those engagements from the roots through the navel center, through the heart, shoulders, neck, crown of the head. Breath is smooth and fluid. It's totally okay if you need to make a few and minute adjustments, right? And sometimes those little adjustments, like it might be something that no one could even see. You just might have a slight little change in emphasis in the way one place is being tugged or where your eyes look, or maybe you have one toe that gets a little bit more vigorous, or maybe you back off someplace and let something reveal itself. And that's what, this is what yoga is, right? You're coming to the mat, you're paying attention to what's going on, you put yourself in these particular shapes, these poses, and then let the pose expose where that tension's been living, that stuff that you don't need to hang on to. As you're ready here, bring that slump shape back into the spine. Chin comes down and in, that little roundness mid back. Maybe you sink a little deeper. And then as you're ready, just bring the torso upright. Let your left hand draw that left knee in, and then the left leg extends out long. Bring the right knee in, right foot opens out, torso tall. So similar stuff here. Take these few moments to set it up before you fold into it. You may again put a block or blanket or couch cushion under the right knee. I do suggest to push a little bit down with that right hand on the right knee. Get it closer to the floor or let it ground into your blankets or whatever. And you may, again might feel that left cheek kind of lifting up. That's okay, right? It's telling us, it's showing you what's going on in the body. But then we want that left cheek to definitely ground down into the earth. Left leg gets a bit more active. Left arm extends up towards the sky. Feel that length starting to show up. Then the right arm extends up. Both legs active, torso active. Torso turns to that left leg. Inhale a little bit longer. Exhale, start to come out forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale a little bit deeper. Inhale, lengthen, and then perhaps release the hands down. Find the place where they're going to be on the foot, toes, ankle, shin, floor. And it doesn't mean better if your hands are way out here, if your spine's all kind of rounded and slumped. That's actually a less better place, if you will. Right, pull the shoulders back, heart pushes forward, belly squeezes in, lengthen the spine. Find that slight structural activity. So my left foot here, it's not just kind of hanging out. There's a little bit of activity pulling the top of the foot towards the shin, heel pressing away, back of the left calf pressing down, left glute pressing down, spine lengthening, right knee pressing down. Breath is smooth and fluid. And again, you may find little unique things that you can do or need to do, right? Perhaps just a little tiny extra twist here, or backing off the intensity in one place and letting something else reveal itself. But by maintaining that relative structure in the whole body, you eliminate the places that at the moment are soft and unengaged. And what that does for us is those soft and unengaged places, when we apply the stretches, then they just kind of move and don't actually get into any of the issues that are in those tissues. Right. But when we find that structure and then we apply the shape, the asana with the structure, there's no place for that stuff to hide. The whole body has some of that engagement. And so you start to pull on those deeper things. As you're ready, let the chin come in, round the spine, sink a little deeper. If you prefer to stay in this shape a little longer, totally okay. It's your practice, right? Let the thing happen as long as you need it to happen. From here, we're headed on to our back sides. So we start to come to the very latter part of our practice this afternoon. And so just bring the soles of the feet to the floor. And you might let the knees just kind of windshield wiper back and forth a couple times. And then let's find the bridge. So press into the feet, soften the buttocks, but strengthen the thighs. I know it's weird because they're right next to each other, but let that happen. And then allow the hips to rise up into the sky. So again, the front side of the spine opening up, back side of the spine has a little bit of compression, and then slowly roll all the way down to the floor. Draw the thighs in towards the chest. Gentle twist coming up again here. So let the knees squeeze in. Take your left hand to the outside of the right thigh. Let your right arm extend straight out from the body. And then use that left hand and start to draw both legs across to the left side. Your face can turn to the left side. Your right arm can keep reaching straight out, or it might slide a little bit towards behind the head, or even a tiny bend in that right elbow, pushing the right elbow away from the root on that right side, low back and hip. So just a few breaths in this shape. And again, if you're just kind of hanging out and laying in the shape, it'll do a little something. If you have that engagement, even here, both feet have a little flex. You're reaching through the right fingertips, grounding the right shoulder down. It'll do more, right? You'll get more benefit, more efficient practice. As you're ready, come into the middle. Let the feet come down, neutralize for just a moment, things shake out a bit. And then find the second side. Both knees draw in. Bring the left hand to the outside of the or right hand outside the left knee. Left arm extends out. And let the legs drift a little bit, or maybe they drift a lot. It just depends. And it could be different on this side than it was on the other side. It can be different today than it was any other day. It actually definitely is different today as today is right now. So your face can look to the right or to the sky or over that left shoulder. Left arm can be reaching straight out, or it might start to slide, reach back a little bit or a lot. Left elbow might bend, and you can push the crease of that left elbow just away from the lower back there on that left side. Breath still smooth and fluid. And then as you're ready, unravel, come into the center. So before we come into Shavasana, again, neutralize, let things, come back to normal. I'm gonna take us into an inversion. Given that we're in this online format and I can't be there with you to make sure that you're being super safe. I'm gonna keep it pretty simple here. Either Apanasana, knees into the chest, or we can go with waterfall, legs straight up into the sky. If you preferred to do a plow pose and you're really comfortable with that, that's a good option here. So is a three-quarter shoulder stand. If you're doing either one of those, please make sure your face is looking straight up to the sky. And if those aren't something that you regularly do safely, no need to put that in here. So possibilities: knees into the chest, hands could be down next to the hips, or sometimes come around the shins. Or we can take legs up into the sky. This kind of not a leg lift where you feel like the lower back's working and the legs are extended out, but more where the knees are over the hips and you feel the weight of the legs kind of pushing down on the lower back. We can take the arms and do a similar kind of thing, right? Where we're letting the arms and legs be dead weights and you can feel the pressure, right? As they push the body back down into the floor, push the shoulders down into the floor, push the lower back into the floor. And so you're looking for that sensation of being grounded down. You can feel those soft tissues and fluids draining down. You can feel the weight of the legs and arms pushing down. And then as you get that sense of, okay, this is literally grounding down, then just let the body come all the way down and find your shape for Shavasana. Shavasana can be done in a variety of different places or shapes. It could be like this with the feet on the floor that helps protect the lower back. Could be with the legs out long and the feet flop to the side. If you're having a little bit of raspiness or something, sometimes laying on your back is an irritant, makes you feel like you're going to cough or whatever. So it's totally okay to roll over onto maybe your right side and Shavasana like that. If you're pregnant, so I would say not to the right side, take it to the other side, roll to the left. Has to do with what's going on with the baby, position of the baby in the body. But once you find that shape that's going to allow you to be still, just let softness come back in. So let go of all the muscular engagements. And I generally will do an inventory starting down at the toes, and I'll be like, toes, just soften. Feet, relax. Ankles, let go. And then just continue that work to release up the legs, into the torso, and the arms, and the neck, and the face. And just take these few moments to be deeply present right there where you're at and recognize how truly amazing and wonderful you as a piece of the universe are, your physical body, the energy of your breath, the energy of your mind. You're your own shining star. As you're ready, Start to bring some life back. Deeper breath, gradual reawakening of the physical body, moving fingers and toes. You may take the arms and extend and reach back behind the head. Nice long stretch here. Toes can point the other direction. Draw the knees in towards the chest. If it's suitable for you, roll over through that right side. Again, pregnancy would say go the other direction. And then eventually make your way into an easy cross legged seated posture to seal our practice. Allow the eyes to remain closed as you come into this cross legged seat. Internal focus. Do you find that subtle structure? This is a good place right here in this last pose to practice like less than 1% intensity, barely happening, but the spine has that length. The outer edges of the hips squeezing in, lifting up, navel center back towards the spine, drawing up. Shoulder blades pull back, heart pushes forward, neck is long. And then let the chin drift down towards the collarbone, a shape for gratitude. Guys, always gratitude to yourself for your continued practice. Or maybe it's your first time to practice. Thank yourself for that. Thanks, gratitude to everyone in the world who is practicing yoga or meditation or Tai Chi or mindfulness or whatever they're doing to polish their little piece of the universe because we're all interconnected, whether you believe it or you want to believe it or not. We are. It's one planet, one universe. What happens in one part has an effect on the other part. And so when we refine ourselves, polish ourselves, make ourselves more aware of our own divinity, then that makes the universe a better place. It's a better place to be around. You're a better person to be around. And then the final thing is this recognition that the essence of each of us is this divinity, which can't be darkened or sullied or diminished by the consequences of what goes on in the world. Our essence is divine and will remain divine. And we recognize that with the Sanskrit word namaste. So thanks very much, guys, for sharing your Friday practice with me, or whenever you do pick this up on YouTube. If you would like to support your Yogi Me LJ Hash, you certainly can. At Venmo is the easy way to do it. At LJ Hash, or you can also do it on PayPal, where the contact is just LJ Hash. Certainly appreciated, but not required. Definitely in these crazy times. Not everyone has the money to chip in, and I completely understand that. The most important thing, at least from what we're doing here today, is that you get your practice in, whether it's with me or with another teacher, or you have your own personal practice, which is a fantastic thing. But keep practicing, y'all. The world's pretty crazy out there, and they need as many shining beacons as we can practice and develop. All right, guys. Have a great afternoon. See you. Next class is tomorrow on a Zoom. You can find the link for that on Oak Cliff Yoga at Instagram and Facebook, or you can also find those links on my personal pages, LJ Hash. 10:30 tomorrow on Zoom will be Vinyasa Slow, so a slow flow. And then 10:30 on Sunday is restorative and meditation. So maybe I'll see you guys then. Thanks a lot.